Welcome back, guys. I hope you're doing well, wherever you are. Now, today is a sad day in Kenya because KDF chopper crash hapo Mihoko secondary schools opposite AIPCA church. And of course, several people are dead, and this is actually a bad news. Bad news to Kenya because KDF amekufa. So, look at the scene. Yes, you can check what's happening there, and you can see that indeed it was a huge bang, and unfortunately hii chopa iligonga manyumba na manyumba pia zikachomeka. So it is so sad and it is actually unfortunate. So remember we used to have a crash some times back, and Kenya lost Logola alikufa kwa crash, and of course so many people came up with speculations. Oh, amemalizwa, blah blah blah, oh nini. But of course there's no evidence to prove that. But of course we can't also bring that story right here. But the point is, Mihoko witness nightmare, danger leo, because chopa imeanguka hapo nikaua watu. So remember, this has happened. This has been a big loss to KDF because imefanyika when of course America pia imesema it won't supply KDF na mabunduki na kila kitu, itasaidia KDF because the president has just failed Americans. So KDF iko na shida because chopa imeanguka nini, mshahara hakuna mshahara, and at the same time USA imesema kwamba they will not offer any help to Kenyans KDF to KDF. So what does this mean? This actually weakens the military. And of course this shows that indeed there is a huge gap in Kenya in terms of defense and security, because now of course each chopper itakuja na some speculations. People will be asking themselves, kwani nini mfanyika mpaka hii chopper ikaanguka chini? Remember even ya Ogola ilianguka chini, but till leo no tangible information imeambiwa kwa Kenya. And of course people were left with speculations. Oh, aliuliwa, ameangushwa, alifanya hii, aliuliwa na deputy wake, aliuliwa na president, aliuliwa na serikali. But of course we cannot just point finger kwa mtu mwenye hatuna evidence. Now this is actually sad news to Kenya because Kenya now is losing grip. And remember, Kakashago himself amesema jana kwamba ati William Ruto alimit Al-Shabaab usiku. Of course I can't just say ni ukweli ama ni uongo because in politics anything can be said. No. But Kakashago is sure that Ruto has been working the KDF with Al-Shabaab, and he has been meeting Al-Shabaab usiku. So of course this has shocked Kenyans, like what country are we living in whereby the president is actually meeting terrorists when you're on a wa Kenya. Of course those were Gachaga's statement, but I can't just sit here and of course judge Ruto. But if at all it is true, then Kenya have a big problem, because if our president can just go and meet Al-Shabaab, then who will protect us? Yes, he was the one who swore to inauguration kwamba he will protect Kenyans and defend Kenyans, but now meet Al-Shabaab. Now this is actually telling me one thing, that indeed serikali ya Kenya iko na shida, and the government is actually in big trouble. Actually the citizens ndo kwa shida, because hao ndo wanaruliwa na serikali. Because now if you can see chopper inaanguka chini, of course the question will be, what has happened to the chopper? Is it another assassination? Is there something being hidden? But of course it's too early to say that this and that is happening. But again, Kenyans would like to know like what's happening, because Ogola alianguka chini, now you're seeing another chopper imeanguka chini. And this came at a time, of course, America ili warn that they cannot offer any help to KDF because Ruto was actually siding with China. And then America wanted to recall the mambo na ile urafiki na Kenya, wataka kuharibu. And of course they said that they want to investigate abductions na mauaji yenye imefanyika under this regime. So this tells you indeed there's something wrong in Kenya, and there's something that needs to be done in Kenya, because all these things can't just happen that way. Yeah, mara sijui leo hii inafanyika, leo hii inafanyika, as in there's something wrong about Kenya, and it needs to be fixed as soon as possible. Of course, I'm not saying that each Choba crash so and so did that, because I am not here to give wrong information, but I'm not saying what has been happening in Kenya. Yeah, I can't just point someone's name. Oh, wewe umemaliza huyu. No. Unless I have proof. But if I don't have proof, I love to wait until thorough investigation imefanyika. Then from there, I will sit here and tell you, my viewer, that huyu na huyu walifanya A, B, C, D. Yeah, because that's my job here. Now, tell me, each chopper, what do you think happened to this chopper? I think all Kenyans want to know, like, what befell this chopper, because now this is not the first time you are seeing chopper konga chini. Even so, sometimes back, some 10 years ago, Saitoti had a plane crash, and no investigation was actually done. In fact, what we saw was just lies. Mara sijui ndege ilikuwa imeharibika. But of course, there was something sinister that was being hidden kwa mambo Saitoti. And of course, is it the same thing that's happening now? I mean, is it the same thing that happened to Ogola? Because now Kenyans are now curious to know what's happening to our military chopper. Military chopper, imagine, KDF. It's so sad. Anyway, to those people who lost their loved ones, I would like to send my condolences to them. And wambia pole, they need to take heart. And of course, we wait and see what will happen. Bye.
If you love politics, then Dr. Politica is your cup of tea. The place for minds that think. If you are watching this from anywhere else, search the name, hit subscribe, and stay sharp with us. Thank you for making Dr. Politica your home for fearless political truth. Every view, every like, every share fuels the fire behind the hours of research, filming, and editing we pour into each episode. By showing up consistently, you don't just support a channel, you empower a voice. In a world ruled by headlines, spin, and power games, you remind us that real people still care about real facts. We are here to inform, inspire, and ignite critical thinking, not just for today, but for generations to come. You are not just a viewer, you are the reason this platform exists.